Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this live session. We are about to start any moment. Really great to see some of you joining. Just give us a few seconds while we set ourselves up. Right, here we go. Okay, here we are. Hello, everybody that is here today on this very special one-off live event focusing on Asians in football as part of South Asian Heritage Month 2021. We have many people joining us, as I can see. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending the time with us this evening. My name is Dal Singh Daroch. I'm the FA's Head of Diversity and Inclusion Strategic Programs, and I have the pleasure to be able to host today's event, supported by the FA and supported by EA Sports FIFA. Why are we having this session today? Well, we want to continue to shine a spotlight on Asians in football, those that have progressed into the elite game, because we know that there are not many of them, and the statistics really do speak for themselves. Despite Asians making up approximately 8% of the population, which is over 4 million people, they actually represent less than 1% in professional football, despite football being the country's national sport. We see a small proportion of Asian communities participate in the structured game, whether as players, coaches, referees, or volunteers. As you all know, the FA is deeply committed to breaking the barriers in football for all people, and those traditionally that are underrepresented across the game, whether they be players, coaches, referees, or within the professional administration of football. We are really committed to doing everything in our power to make a difference. But of course, many stakeholders across the game and football and the football family need to play their part too. You will know that the FA released its refreshed Asian inclusion strategy in 2019, and we're working to change the game in every way that we can. You can see more on our strategy as well as our annual report, which came out in May of this year, to learn more about what we're doing across the core pillars of our work. And that includes women and girls, pathways, grassroots, and of course, our communications and engagement activities. But first, let me now tell you a little bit more about the person you are all here to see and hear from today. He's recently featured in the FA's Football and Me series, launched in July, so only a few days ago, really, with our first episode starting on the 27th of July, and every other day over 2 weeks. Football and Me features a host of Asian role models in football, ranging from players in the men's and women's games, such as Swansea City FC's Dhanda, Birmingham City Academy player Layla Banaras, and Manchester United player Zidane Iqbal, as well as coaches and referees such as Charlton Athletic women's assistant manager Riteesh Mishra. The series, of course, also features England men's senior manager Gareth Southgate, who just this week actually was quoted in the media as part of this series when he told me, when we were filming the series, that sometimes the Asian voice has been lost in the anti-discrimination argument. So here we are today, using our voice, championing our heritage, and sharing positive stories and focusing on role models. And you can see the whole of the Football and Me series on England Football, as well as on the FA.com. I also have with me today this really, really interesting and informative book. I'm sure you can all see that. EA Sports FIFA have recently launched a comic book series entitled Hamza My Story, which it documents the upbringing as a British Asian of Hamza and his journey to making it as a professional footballer in the Premier League. The comic is a celebration of Hamza's status as a role model for all and forms part of the wider Inspire the Next Generation EA Sports campaign. This really aims to start fixing the cycle that has been holding back British Asian football talent for many generations. But we're going to talk a bit more about this later, and some of you will get a chance to receive one of the comic books as a free copy. So that is pretty cool. So for the main attraction, we are bringing to you perhaps the most senior professional player of South Asian heritage in the English men's professional game today. He's currently playing for Premier League club Leicester City FC. He is an FA Cup winner and he's represented England at under 21 and under 20 level. We're going to have a chat. We're going to learn more about him. We're going to get behind the player, and perhaps many of you will be inspired by his story. You can, of course, submit questions, and we'll try and get around to some of them later on. Use the chat function and the comments that you can see available to wherever you're watching. So, ladies and gentlemen, it does give me real great pleasure to welcome to this very special event for South Asian Heritage Month, our Asians in Football live event, welcoming the man that is Hamza Choudhury.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Hamza.
And thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I'm okay. How was your day today? What have you been up to? You been to training?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, we had training. We had a bit of a later start today. We're in at 12. But yeah, no, had training, picked the kids up from nursery.
Yeah,
that's about it. That's about it, really.
And is that one of the children I can hear in the background?
Yeah.
Good. So you're currently at home. Yeah, I think we can start with just kind of you and your kind of personal history, because what I know about you and what we all know about you is that when you were 6 years old and your mum bought you a full England kit and took you to your first football session. Can you tell us about that and kind of how your journey into football started?
It was, I think I've said it plenty of times, but I think as a kid, I was just a really energetic, hyper kid. It wasn't so much football. It was just any sport. But when she bought me my first England kit and took me to go and play football at Loughborough University, I sort of just fell in love with it then. Prior to that, my uncle loves football. He lives and breathes it. Like he's a massive Liverpool fan. So since a child, younger than 6, I've been watching football. So no, my first experience was good. It was a really good experience. It was just like an open day for everyone during, I think it was summer holidays really then. Yeah, and then I can remember just my mum bringing me my first kit and my first pair of boots, and I'm just running away with it and just loving every second of it really.
Yeah, and clearly you were talented right from the off. But were there any other sports that you were good at or that you'd considered taking up? Was there another sport that you thought you could potentially go really far in?
I don't think I ever took anything else really seriously, to be honest. I played cricket. I went to a few boxing sessions and stuff like that. And I think football was just my one real love. Was my one. It's something I really just instantly fell in love with. And I think I was just gifted physically, really, as a child. I was a bit bigger than everyone, but I think that helped me with my progression in football. So,
okay. And we know, obviously, you've started so early, as you've said.
Yeah.
That's okay. Sort out the children. All good.
Sorry.
All right. So I guess, you said you started very early. We know that you started at 6 years old, but who did you look up to when you wanted to be a player? I mean, were there any specific players or role models that you were idolizing throughout your time as a youngster?
Maybe not at the age of 6. I think maybe when I joined Leicester, I started watching football more seriously, I guess, if you can at that age. But I used to watch a lot of Arsenal and Real Madrid. Real Madrid TV was free at the time, so we didn't really have any sports channels. So I used to watch a lot of Real Madrid TV, the likes of like Zidane, Guti, them players at that time. But I used to watch a lot of Arsenal and Vieira and Omri at the time. Obviously, really, really big players in the Premier League. So I feel like I really looked up to them.
Okay. And we know that obviously your heritage and your background is that your dad is from Grenada, your mom is from Bangladesh, and of course the person with Asian heritage. How important is that to you in your football career in terms of you taking a stance in your career and the way that you conduct yourself?
Yeah, massive now. I feel like maybe growing up I never really thought of it too much. I think I just took. My mum used to say, just each step at a time, and just focus on your training, focus on football, focus on working hard. So growing up, I never really had that stigma around me. I just took each step and step as a step of the process, really. But now I've started obviously getting more, I guess, more people talking about it and understanding my role in my society and as a British South Asian. It's massive for me, it makes me feel really proud and it makes me want to achieve a lot more.
Absolutely, and we know that your mum played a big role in your career and has been by your side, pretty much from the beginning.
Yeah.
I guess good question that most people will want to know is, what was the football academy journey like? So as a youngster, you went and played for Loughborough. You then went into the academy at Leicester City. What was that kind of academy experience like?
Really good. I wouldn't change anything about it. I think we had a choice to make when I was younger between Leicester, Derby, and Nottingham. And as soon as we went into Leicester, it's such a homely club, obviously so rich in culture. So when we first went to Leicester, I feel like that's where me and my family felt most comfortable. And then from there, just went step to step. It happened so quick, you don't really see each year passing. But I enjoyed every minute of it, every year of it. And for the first few years, it's just about enjoying your football, obviously improving your skills. But for me and my family, it was a brand new experience. No one in the family had been through anything like that previous. No one really knew what to expect. I think we were a bit starstruck at the beginning. I think my uncle told me that. I think we went to one of an open day or an open trial sort of thing. And he said he must have seen 60, 70 kids and the best, the newest boots and the newest kits. And he sort of turned around to my mum and said, this is going to be tough. He's not really got a chance, but we'll go for the ride and we'll enjoy it. So I think it did it took us a little while to get used to, but then after that, it was just about enjoying it, traveling around the country with the family, obviously a massive family, and everyone coming to the games and supporting me, which is also helpful for me. It makes you obviously feel a lot more at ease when you've got your brothers and your cousins and your uncles and aunties at the side of the pitch. So for me, it was an amazing experience. I don't feel like I changed a single bit of it.
And so your family played a massive role, obviously, in your career because they were going around with you, supporting you. Was that a regular feature for you in terms of having all your family by your side as you were traveling everywhere?
Yeah, pretty much. I think my uncle took me to a lot of the away games. So his son, my cousin, used to come to a lot of them. And then we've got family in London and all over the country. So whenever we travel to them games, we used to get different sorts of family come from different places. So it was amazing for me, like I say, I guess you used to know who my family were really because there was about 15 of them at each game at the side of the pitch. So it was, like I said, it makes you feel so comfortable and at ease. And, even at such a young age, made me proud that all of my family were there supporting me. And it makes you want to achieve more. It makes you strive more.
Absolutely. So it's very clear, for potentially for kids that are watching that want to play the game, that, the family support is really important. And of course, for parents that want to get their children into the game, male, female, is that, the support to the children is so important. In 2014, Hamza, you were awarded your first scholarship at Leicester City. And so what was that like for you at the time? What were you going through? How were you feeling?
I think that's the first time football sort of really got serious for me, in my eyes anyway. I think I always had belief in myself that I was going to be a footballer one day. I think everyone does as a kid. You are sort of naive to everything else in the world, you're still a child. But I think when the scholarships start coming up, people obviously talk about it, like if you've been offered it and if you've not. But for me, it was probably the first time I got serious, because it's the first time you went to full-time football. I think it was nerve-wracking. Like I said, I believed in my ability and thought I would get one, and luckily I did. Thankfully, Leicester gave me the chance to become a full-time scholar at the club, and they were the best times. As a teenage boy with lads that you've grown up with through your whole life, to go in and almost get paid for paid for what you do for fun. I think before that, every opportunity you get is you get out of the house to try and go and play football. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, absolutely. So even if we go from 2014 and then we fast forward to 2018, when you made your first Premier League start, and then later that year, you then also played for England. You debuted for the England under 21. So how did you feel at that point in your career? What was going through your mind? Did you think, I'm there, I've made it, this is superb, or did you feel like you were under pressure as someone from a diverse community and obviously a South Asian role model, or did you just embrace it? Like, how was all that going? Because you're in the Premier League, you're playing for England. How does one deal with that?
I think my family support. They'd never let me get on my high horse and think I was all it. I think daily reminders from them as a child, really. So when you get into them positions, it's not like a deer in headlights, and it's also not like I feel like I've done it all, because you never have. There's so much more to strive for, and I feel like at that time it was massive for the whole family. It's not just for me. I'm not doing it just for myself. So each of them moments I was celebrating with the family, like massive celebrations, just lots of like good company. But then it was like, okay, but now you have to go back and work harder to do more, to obviously achieve more. So there are different pressures that come from it, and I really do understand when people can get caught up in the emotion of making your debut or playing a few games or getting your first England call up, and it's an easy route to go down. But like I said, with my family support, everything was made simple for me.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get on to some of the, I guess, the more sensitive stuff, which is, let's talk about the sensitive subject of Asians in football, because the statistics tell us that actually at pro level, then the number of people from South Asian backgrounds in the top level are, it's less than 1%. It's like 0.2% or so. And so the numbers are low. The stories are often mixed, as we know. And the feelings are often those of regret, or people feeling like, what if only that had happened, etc. So, we know that Asians play a lot of football at grassroots level and recreationally for fun. Why do you think we don't see enough visible people of Asian backgrounds playing football at the elite levels? Why is that?
I think there's two reasons, really. I think there's definitely a stigma that's followed through the generations of, I guess, racism within football, and not giving Asian people a fair chance. Maybe at the beginning of, I guess, when Asians started taking football seriously or wanted to play at the professional, at the highest level. And then I think there's also people not giving it 100%, whether that be your family, your parents, you and yourself. You're not giving yourself that chance. You're almost writing yourself off before you've even given it a good go, which I understand is difficult, but it's about breaking the barriers. It's about believing in yourself. It's about doing the best you can, really. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. This is the fun of being live, and secondly, the fun of doing everything online.
Okay. 2 seconds.
Go for it.
What do you want?
So you see, for the first time, guys, Hamza being a family man, dealing with his children, making sure that they are looked after. What an admirable guy. We'll just wait for him to finish. And so far, we've heard about his experiences as a youngster. We've heard about what he's doing, and how he kind of copes with being a player, getting his scholarship, getting his first debut in the Premier League, as well as playing for England at under 21 level. We're now just going into the sensitive area, which is around why there is a lack of Asians in the game. And of course, we're talking about the elite game, given Hamza's role in football at the moment. So we'll just wait for him to come back.
Sorry.
That's okay. All good. All good. The joys of being online. One of our audience members, Hamza, has just said that you need to come and bring your baby on screen to say hello. Now, I'll leave that to you. That is entirely your choice. So, Hamza, that's okay. That's okay. You were talking about, obviously, the lack of Asians in the game and why you think that is. Do you want to just kind of finish off what you were saying? You know, why is there such a lack of Asians in the game?
Definitely. Like I said, I definitely feel like there is a bit of, Asian people don't get the fair look in due to the way it is, due to racism, due to there not being any Asian footballers at the highest level, so it leads to scouts not really looking in that direction. And then it comes to culture and tradition and whatnot. I feel like we all understand as Asians, and our parents being Asians were almost like third generational Asians. So the second and first generations were really educational based and creating a stable lifestyle, which is education and going into work. There's examples. There's hundreds of examples. I've got one in my family. One of my older cousins actually got scouted. I think he was maybe 14, 15 by Leyton Orient, West Ham, and Watford. And he obviously went home and told his dad, and his dad was like, "That's not a good route for you. There's too much risk. It's more important for you to knuckle down and study hard, and that's obviously more of a suitable, more stable lifestyle, So I think there's definitely both sides, but like you say, we're all here trying to fight to break the barriers down. So it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of belief from the whole community, to break these barriers and have more Asians at the elite level.
So do you think then that the football as an industry should do something different, or do things differently in order to attract more Asian players?
I think there's a lot of stuff that can be done. A lot more open days to invite people's parents to come and watch, and how much it. Do you know what? I think with one of my experiences through football, you learn so much discipline on and off the pitch. It's not just going out and enjoying yourself. There's so much discipline that comes with it. So many sacrifices that you have to make from such a young age. It's not all bright lights and nice cars and whatnot. So there's a lot of the sides of football that people don't see. And I almost get that, as a parent, that if you don't understand the lifestyle or the life your kids are wanting to get into, then why you'd almost be hesitant to push them towards chasing that. So there's a lot more things that, like I say, open days, academies, having open days for parents to be more understanding and watch them obviously learn, grow and achieve and be successful.
And you talk about sacrifices. So can you explain to us what some of those sacrifices look like for you? For kids and parents, etc., that are watching, that potentially we're looking at Hamzas of the future, right? There's potentially a lot of Hamzas of the future watching this. What are the sacrifices? How would you describe them?
I think, the biggest sacrifice, I think, has been for my little brothers and my parents and my sister, because I'm trained from the age of 7. Like I said, I used to live in Loughborough, so I used to train twice on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 5:30. Which is obviously and 2 hours after you finish school. So my uncle and my mum used to have to rush home from work to have to take me, which obviously takes time away from my brothers and sisters and whatnot. So there's that sacrifice, and then as a person, you miss so many family events. You miss hanging out with your friends. It probably keeps you out of a lot of trouble. If I'm brutally honest with you, is on a Friday night where your friends want to go to the park, it's not an option because you've got to get up for training or a game and whatnot. So, as like I say, it pushes you towards discipline and living the right lifestyle. It's eating the right stuff. It's doing the right things, doing the right at the right times. So there's a lot of sacrifice. I think that I guess you have to make in every walk of life, but especially from such a young age, there's a lot of sacrifices. you have to make, and it's whether you're willing to make them sacrifices to achieve your goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you, of course, are the first British South Asian footballer to win the FA Cup in, of course, modern day history with Leicester City this year. Obviously, a very proud occasion for you, for the Bangladeshi community, but also for the South Asian communities as well. How did that feel, and did that change anything for you?
I don't think it changed anything for me. I think it made me more hungry. It given me a lot more motivation. I think over the last few years, like I said, there's been a light shed on the lack of Asians in the elite end of the game. So for me to see all the support and the thousands of nice messages I got from the South Asian community, it's honestly, it was amazing, the best feeling. It couldn't have made me any more proud at that time. So it's made me more motivated to break these barriers for people to have the same opportunities that I've had, and for people from the South Asian community to be as successful. It's something that I'm really driven to do, and my family want to help me do it as well. So it's like I say, it's just motivated me more, I think.
Do you feel any pressure, Hamza, having that kind of title, being elevated to the level where you are, the first to win the FA Cup of South Asian background? Doesn't that put any pressure on you at all? You're quite a chilled out guy from what I can see, right? You relax. You were also very chilled out when we did the FA series and you were on our videos, which we released a few days ago. So I know of you that you are relaxed, but don't you feel any pressure?
Not really, to be brutally honest. And like I say, I feel like it's I keep saying it, but it's the support network I have. If I need anyone to speak to about anything, there's so many people I could go to talk about it if I did. But like I say, I'm sort of embracing each moment as it comes, and I'm loving every single minute of it.
Okay, brilliant. All right, well, another question. Obviously, being Asian means that you could be any type of Asian in terms of you could be Indian, you can be Pakistani, you could be Bangladeshi, and you obviously, Hamza, as a South Asian, you're also Muslim. How does that play a role in your? How does your faith play a role in your career and guide you along your journey?
Discipline again. I think it comes down to that. I think my upbringing was massive on culture and faith and then culture. But for me, it taught me a lot about being a person, as in growing up in a household where it was such strong characters built on faith. Like I say, going back to discipline, it's what you can and can't do. And through the right messages, it's not like you shouldn't do this because I said so. It's understanding why you shouldn't be doing these things. Me, I've got, like, I keep going back to my family. We have these open conversations now. I'm a bit more grown up to like what helped me when I was a kid and how I maybe could have understood it better then, or how I can understand it better now. I think a lot has changed in the 21st century. Kids have access to anything and everything. So we have these conversations about how to not protect our kids, but prepare them the best for the life we're bringing them into. So it's been massive for me. It's been so helpful for me, and like I say, you said about pressure and obviously Muslims, all of us believe it's Allah's will, and what will come.
Absolutely. That's a great, kind of stance and philosophy to live by, and your faith helping you on the way. I guess your children, your daughter's been around. Would you want your children to be footballers?
Whatever they'd like to be, honestly. I think whatever. I think that's the stance my mum took with me as a child, and I think it's done me well. Like I say, there's no added pressure. Then I wouldn't ever force them into being footballers or in the footballing world. But if they wanted to, then I'd support them 100%.
Okay, that's fair enough. You're obviously in the Leicester region. You're involved in, heavily in the club in terms of being a role model. Have you been utilised by the club? And I'm looking at some of the questions actually. Has the club recognised the diversity of the local community, and have they involved you in schemes to kind of interact with the local community?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think, like I say, Leicester is a special city. It's so rich in culture. You just have to walk down the Golden Mile or wherever, go into the city centre, and there's people from all faiths and walks of life. So I think Leicester have known that since it's been a club, and I feel like they have brought awareness to the fact that there is minorities within us and that everyone is accepted. So I think with everything you can do more, especially with the situation we're talking about. There can be more done to bring light to people ourselves. So. And
talking of Leicester, very diverse community over there. Great food, I'll tell you that much. Is my experience of Leicester. But I want to talk very briefly about this comic book which you have been part of and you've created. You've taken part in a EA Sports FIFA campaign where you wore the Midnight Ramadan League shirt and released this comic book about your story. Why did you want to create it?
To tell people my story, because like I say, there's been so few of us. No one knows what the journey really is like for people from our community, from our heritage and culture and whatnot, and just to let people know it's achievable, and it's not as scary as people make out. At the end of the day, if you give your everything and you give your all, then you can't really look back with any regrets. So it was brought forward to me, and it was amazing. I was a bit taken aback that people would want to hear my story, really, if I'm honest with you. But I love doing it. I love doing it, yeah.
So it's been received well. You've had a lot of feedback from followers, fans.
Yeah, really, really well. A lot of people have been asking for it and have told me that they've really enjoyed it, and yeah, no, it's been really good.
Good. I have read it a few times. Really good, interesting story. And I can really see the family dynamics that you talked about, because you mentioned them in the comic book, how your family played a massive role in in supporting you and being part of your network. I must also shout out Show Races in the Red Card, who supported the creation of course, the comic book, as well as the Premier League primary stars. And EA Sports, of course, have helped to get this comic book into as many hands as possible with kids and various organisations and schools. So, it's a great story. It's one of of you as a role model. I really enjoyed reading it. What we actually want to do is we want to give audience members the opportunity to have one of these copies, to grab a version of this. So we're going to ask the audience a question, and then we want you to tell us what the answer is. And the question to the audience, in order for you to receive one of these, I want you to write in the chats what you think Hamza's favourite food is. So Hamza, we've just talked about food. You talked about Leicester and how there's great food there. So don't tell us just yet. But I want people in the audience to tell us, what do you think Hamza's favourite food is that you don't think he could live without? Put your answers on the chat. Let's see what comes back. And then those that get it right, well, it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, of course. But those that get it right, we're going to send you a free copy of the so let's just see what comes through. And Hamza, have a good think about what your favourite food is.
Okay.
And I've seen some of the answers coming through. I've had one on a text just come in that said your favourite food is what? Milk and cookies? No. Okay. I'm going to put it out there anyway. Milk and cookies. The kind of the superstitious food that people eat before a game. Somebody said a special doner kebab. Interesting one. Hassan, you said that. Hassan's also said lamb curry. That sounds reasonable, to be honest with you, in terms of a favourite food. Let's see if I've got any more messages coming in.
Somebody 2 minutes. Take it to the toilet.
Oh, that's okay. Sorry. All right, go for it. Well, I'll be doing that. Let's continue the guessing on. I don't understand that one, Yasmin. You said mas bat. Apologies if I've said that wrong. We also have mac and cheese. Can't go wrong with mac and cheese, can you really? So I'm not sure, Yasmin, what you mean by that one, but you might want to, if you could just elaborate, I'll put it to him. My guess was pizza. Nice and easy. Doner seems to be a very special one, and the messages coming through directly to me are saying doner kebabs. I don't know, there's some special doner kebabs in Leicester City or something like that. Rice and fish curry. So what we'll do is, while everybody is guessing, this, of course, is the Hamza comic book. This has only come out recently. It talks about how Hamza started his journey right from the start when he was 6 years old, all the way through to when he played football to the current day. Talks about how you become a footballer and how it requires a lot of dedication and self-belief. Now, we know many of the parents that are watching today and the children, perhaps, that it takes a lot of dedication, as Hamza has already referred to. So, it's really important that you find opportunities to go and play, to coach, to referee, whatever your interest may be. And of course, you can do that through the FA. Go to englandfootball.com, www.englandfootball.com, and that is where you can find out all of the opportunities that exist in your local area. You can do a search, you can put in your postcodes, and you can find all of those things out. Hamza, you are back. So surprisingly, Hamza, a lot of the answers are doner kebab, right? So we've had a few like special doner meat, mac and cheese, hudki, rice and fish curry, hudki shira, of course, you all know, fermented fish, chicken tikka. But there's quite a few. They all have the Asian twist, right? It doesn't have to be Asian. So, all of you guys that have submitted some answers, thank you. We were going to send all of you a copy of the comic book here, courtesy of EA Sports. Thank you guys for doing that. Hamza, why don't you tell us, right? What is your favourite food that you can't live without? Let's see if anyone's got it right.
Do you know what? There's two, to be honest. A guilty one after a game, or as in like a cheat one, it would be a special doner. So whoever said that.
Really? Somebody has got that bang on then. Who is that?
Yeah, and then my other one would be my auntie's chicken curry.
Your auntie's chicken curry, and your special guilty one is a special doner.
Yeah.
Wow. Some people are bang on. I'm quite surprised at that, if I'm honest. Okay. So you like a special doner? What, after a game?
Yeah, after a game, really. Or if you've got a few days off, then definitely so. But you have to try it. And
yeah, I will try. I mean, I am partial to a fish and chips and a doner. So yeah, all good. Have to come over to Leicester and see what the fuss is about, to be honest. Okay, so Hamza, look, looking ahead, what's next for you? What is it? What are your aspirations? Getting into the senior team for England?
Yeah, well, one day I think, but at the minute, I think for me, it's just to get as many games as I can in the Premier League and enjoy my football. I think it's so true. You play your best football when you're enjoying it. But for me, I think it's at the minute it's getting as many games as I can, enjoying it whilst I can, and see where that leads to. Just take each step at a time and keep improving. So, yeah, definitely. Inshallah, one day I want to play for the senior team, but for right now, I think it's just playing as many games as I can get. Okay.
And, we talked very briefly about your England experience because you've played at under 20, you've played at under 21. Those experiences have been obviously very positive for you.
Yeah.
What has been, there's so many moments, but what has been your most memorable moment in football? What is it? What is the one thing that stands out? Because we've talked about quite a lot, actually.
I think FA Cup.
The FA Cup?
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
The one. That's the one.
I think it's still now. I don't think it will really, say, stuff doesn't settle in really, and what you've achieved until you've sort of finished football. But I don't know, just to win such a prestige trophy at quite a young age for my hometown club, being the first Asian, I think there's nothing that will really top that. Amazing. was amazing. On the day after, I went home to my uncle's house, and there was loads of my family and friends who came and greeted me out there. So made it even more special, Yeah, it's something that I already look back on, and I can't stop watching the videos. It's an achievement that I'll of course always remember.
Absolutely, and it's one that you should be very proud of. And I know the community are very, very proud of you for achieving what you have as being the first South Asian, winning the FA Cup. I think it's phenomenal, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of it. I'm looking at some of the questions from some of the audience that are watching today. Some are difficult questions, I guess, because they ask questions of the game itself. But do you think unconscious bias exists in the footballing world among scouts, for example?
Unconscious bias, yeah, definitely. I think that's what I was trying to get at. My unconscious bias is bound to happen because there's not any Asians for them to compare it to. At the end of the day, they've got a job to do, and their role is to bring in the best players, and
Mm-hmm.
really and truly, you go back to what's been successful for you in the past. So if there's not been any successful Asians or anyone that they can compare to, it's really putting yourself out on a limb to sort of bring it in. But like I say, that's where it has to change, because I've played and met many talented Asian football, probably more talented than me as a younger kid.
Yeah,
more talented than me that haven't had the opportunity or haven't given it 100%. So yeah, I think there is an unconscious bias.
Okay, yeah, it is something that I think the game needs to focus on a lot more. I think there's a role for the clubs to play, of course, in terms of finding talent, doing the whole talent ID and scouting. So that is something that I guess all of the football family need to focus on. We've got a question from Ibrahim Rahman. Thank you, David Bamford, for that question. Ibrahim said that Southgate recently said an Asian player in an England shirt would be powerful. What are your thoughts on that? And is that going to be you?
Inshallah, maybe me, but I think it will be massive. I think it'll be huge. To see a British South Asian wearing the England kit will be amazing. But regardless of if it's me or not, I think it'll change a lot. It'll change a lot of people's perspectives. I think it'll inspire a lot of people to give their dreams 110%. So hopefully it'll happen sooner rather than later. But the day it does happen, it'll be a big thing.
Absolutely. There was a question about how England got to the finals, how you were feeling at the time when you saw the final. Of course, there were some things that happened in terms of abuse of England players. I mean, what is your stance on all of that, and how were you feeling about the final?
The final was amazing. The fact that we were there, we've done so well to get there. I think we conceded one goal to get to the final. So the lads have obviously performed amazingly throughout. I think as a country as a whole, England is our main sport, and it's probably the biggest in England. The Premier League is probably the best league in the world. So I think there is a lot of extra pressure for our national team to be successful, and I think this summer they really were. I was here with my family. My family were all here, so it was such a good day, and it was heartbreaking, to lose it as we did in the fashion we did. It was heartbreaking, I think, for the whole country. But you obviously see what it did whilst we were being successful for the country. I think everyone's smiling, everyone saying hello to everyone you walk past in the street. Everyone's in good mood and having a good time. So that's the power that football can have.
Absolutely.
Changing the entire nation, and it was heartbreaking. I think it's going to be a learning curve for the country, for the team again. But yeah, and then obviously the abuse that followed is disgusting. Something we need to tackle again with social media and I think the educating younger kids, and it's not just younger kids. I think it's a nation as a whole. But I think that's something that will be done.
Absolutely. So Hamza, we're coming to the end of our time. That feels like it's gone very, very quickly. It's been great to speak to you. But in terms of closing, first thing I want to say is that Obeid Hussein got it right. He put special doner, or he put doner kebab, and he got the question right. We've had a couple of David Bamford in particular said, look, he didn't guess it, but can we send him a copy of the book anyway? Yes, of course, we will do that. We will do that. So thanks everyone for engaging in that. What, Hamza, for you is the one piece of critical advice for the Hamzas of the future? What would you say to them in order to try and drive their careers and make sure that they are going to be successful in the game? Words of wisdom from you.
To have no regrets, people's choice is out of your hands. You can only put yourself in the best position possible by working as hard as you can and giving yourself the best opportunity. I'd be gutted if I ever look back on any part of my career and thought I hadn't given myself 110%. If you feel like you can't give anyone an excuse, so all you can do is work on yourself and work as hard as you possibly can.
Okay, that's fair enough. What I take away from our conversation, especially as a message for others, is your support network, of course, is very important. Having your family support, the sacrifice and dedication that you have to make, and then obviously giving 110% to everything. People are commenting on your baby, Hamza. Very cute, very cute. Yasmin Khan is saying baby is so cute, mashallah. So I think that might be your auntie, Hamza, because I think she did think earlier on that she's your auntie.
Okay.
So you've obviously got your fans supporting you, your family here supporting you as well today. Thank you, Hamza, for your time.
No, thank you.
It's been a real pleasure, for me personally to talk to you. For everyone watching, there you have it, guys and girls, a first-hand take on what it feels to be a top Premier League player and a representative and role model for South Asian communities. So thank you very much, Hamza, for your honesty, your open dialogue, for really saying what was on your mind. I'm wishing you all the best for the future and hopefully a senior England appearance. I'm sure you're only going to go from strength to strength. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. For those that have won one of the comic books, we will be in touch. This video will be available to watch again on the South Asian Heritage Month YouTube channel. And so do pass it on to your friends and family who may have missed today, to really just to keep the message alive. We're going to talk for another hour easily. And to really, all of you, keep moving forward, be your authentic selves, set your goals, and you will go far. And for all the aspiring players, coaches, and referees, get involved. Go to englandfootball.com to learn about how to get into the beautiful game, the one that we all love. So thank you, Hamza. Any final words of wisdom? People are here watching. You're a massive role model for them. We want the game to change. We want to see more people from this background and from South Asian backgrounds to be involved. What else would you say? Now's your chance.
Stand up and be counted for. I think that's it. I think unless you give it a go, you'll never know what you could have achieved. So for me, I think it's something I hopefully can teach my kids is to stand up and be yourself, like you mentioned, be authentic and be yourself. Never be ashamed of what you've come from and how you've got there. So
never be ashamed of where you come from is absolutely brilliant advice, and to stand up and be counted. Thank you, Hamza. Really, really appreciate your time today. We've had a great experience. I'm looking through some of the comments. You're getting some great love. Would love to see you in an England shirt. Hopefully seeing you again, obviously on the pitch. Thank you for obviously being involved. Great conversation. So yeah, lots of love for you. Thank you for sharing your family with us as well. Really appreciate it. Just for me to say goodbye, thank you, good night. Do watch it back and do share it. Keep spreading the message. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks a lot, Hamza. Have a great day and all the best for your future career.
Thank you very much.